Do you want to hear some lessons from an Olympic gold medalist in triathlon? What's up, everybody? This is Mario, and in today's episode, I want to share some lessons from Gwen Jorgenson, an Olympic gold medalist from Rio in 2016. So, as part of the Endurance Coaching Summit, Jamie Turner, who's been dubbed the world's best triathlon coach, interviewed Gwen Jorgenson, the winner of the 2016 triathlon gold medal in women's triathlon. And they talked about how they developed a relationship over the years, what her training looked like, and some of the keys to her success. But what they started with was their first interaction. And their first interaction started with Gwen after she had placed 38th in the 2012 Olympics. She started researching how she could improve. And she looked at the people who were ahead of her, and she realized that everybody who had beaten her had been training as a team in a group with a top triathlon coach. So she started to interview different triathlon coaches, and she flew to Australia to meet Jamie Turner. And in their first interaction, they actually met at a pizza joint, and they started to get to know each other and ask a few questions. And that's when Gwen told Jamie that she wanted to win the gold medal in 2016 in Rio, and she asked what it would take. And Jamie was very honest with her. He said, this is what your time needs to be in the swim. This is what your time needs to be in the bike. This is what your time needs to be in the run. And it kind of scared her. He also told her about all of the different sacrifices that she was going to have to make. Missing family time, missing holidays, missing weddings. Those are the types of things that she would need to overcome to achieve her goal. He also really challenged her and asked her questions about what would she bring to the team. Is she really committed? And in that first interaction, Gwen knew that Jamie would be the best person for her because it would push her outside of her comfort zone. And through this hour-long conversation that they had, there were so many insightful takeaways, but I just want to share 4 powerful lessons and quick stories and takeaways that will be helpful for you today. So the first one is one of the things that Jamie talked about was that in the 4 years that they worked together every single day, he can only remember one training session that he had to modify for her. So in 4 years, that's 1,460 days, there was only one day where he had prescribed a workout for her that she needed to slightly modify. Besides that, she stuck with it and she was consistent. And even that one day, apparently she was supposed to go for a run in New Plymouth, and it was just soggy and it was wet, and he had prescribed it on a specific terrain, but she did the workout on asphalt anyways because she was listening to her body. So in 1,460 days, there was only one day where she had to modify the workout. And so having that consistent training was the biggest key to her success. And one of the things that she said that she learned from Jamie was that it's better to be average every day than to have an outstanding workout and then get injured or slack off. So by being consistent, it gave her confidence that she was prepared and that she did absolutely everything that she could do to win gold. And so that's really the power of consistency. So I want to ask you, how consistent are you with your goals? So the next major takeaway for me was a really simple habit to enhance and record something based on her daily experiences. And this was an option that Jamie gave Gwen to start to develop the right habits. And what they called it was the power of 3. And all it is it's a daily journaling exercise where at the end of the day, Gwen would write down answers to three different prompts. The first is 3 things I did well. The next one is 3 things I can invest in to get better. And then the other one is 3 things I am going to stop doing or optimize. So the power of 3. 3 things I did well, 3 things I can invest in to get better, and 3 things I'm going to stop doing or optimize. And Gwen was pretty vulnerable, and she was open about how as an elite athlete, she wasn't very good at that first one, which is praising yourself and focusing on the things that she's doing well. And that was a challenge for her. It was something that she had to get better at. And she even joked and said that sometimes she wrote down, I drank water today. But eventually it got to a point where it was very much focused on positives. It was very much focused on technique-based things like keeping her head up, keeping her elbow up, keeping her eyes up. And eventually these things that she started to write down of things that she was doing well, those became some of her mantras. And so these 3 questions are very simple prompts of things that you did well, things that you can invest in to do better, and things that you can stop, things that you're going to stop doing. And they're just super quick and actionable techniques that I think you could even apply today. So I mentioned that many of the things that she wrote down became her mantras on race day. And that's kind of the next takeaway that I had was just around the power and utilizing those race day mantras. And through the journaling and through reflection and trying different things, Gwen had a number of mantras, but there was one story that stood out to me, that one of the mantras that she had for herself on the bike was make it a game. So make it a game, make it fun, make it exciting. And they talked about in one of her races leading up to Rio, there's this picture that just perfectly sums this up, where Gwen is on her bike and she's in a group of women who are also biking around her. And there's maybe 10 women. They're all like biking as hard as they can. But all of the women have this grimaced look on their face, super tense and strained. But then you look at Gwen and she's smiling. And it's almost like she's laughing and she's having fun. And that's because she was embracing that make it a game mantra on the bike. And when Jamie asked her about this, she said, yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. Anytime somebody would try and make a move past her on the bike, she would make it a game and she would try and jump ahead of them and have that make it a game mentality. So that just kind of is one quick story to show you how you can use a mantra in a race. And there were other mantras that she shared in the interview, and I just want to go through some of those. They're just words and descriptions of how she wanted to show up in that moment. Words like alert, aware, focus, intent, assertive, and be a boss. So alert, aware, focus, intent, assertive, be a boss. So these are things that she would journal about. She would be intentional. She would write these things on her bike, on her body. She would say them. She would have them, rehearse them in her mind. And then she was able to show up on race day and really live those values. So coming back to the mantras, these are just words that resonated with Gwen and in her pursuit to a gold medal in Rio. But what would your mantras be? What would your mantra be for today? How do you want to show up? Pick a word and really try and live towards that. So one other one that I really, really loved was this next one. So after Gwen had won the gold medal in triathlon, about a year later, she made a transition and she started to make a bold new claim where she was going to be leaving the triathlon sport, and she set her sights on winning a gold medal in the 2020 Olympics in the marathon. And a lot of people thought that this was crazy because she had just won a gold medal. She was the top in her world, and she should set her sights on defending that gold medal and becoming the first American woman to win back-to-back gold medals. But she made that transition to marathon and track because she wanted to continue to push herself. She felt like she had already reached her potential in triathlon, but she had not reached her potential in track and in marathon. And so knowing that this was her new goal, this was 2017, the Olympics were supposed to be this year in 2020, they've been pushed to 2021, she started to reflect on how might she achieve her 2020 marathon and track goal. And again, she did some reflection and she realized that the reason why she improved so much with triathlon was she was surrounded by people who were better than she was. And because of that, she decided to switch triathlon coaches. And it's really that concept that just shocked me when she said she switched coaches and she switched training groups because she wanted to be surrounded by people who were better than she was. So think about that. That's an Olympic gold medalist saying, I'm going to go do something different and I want to join this group because they're all better than I am. So that is just amazing to me, because you would think when you're at the top of success that your ego would really want you to continue to stay in that lane that you're in and be better than the people around you. But that's actually the opposite of what Gwen did. So those are just 4 of the main takeaways that I had for you after that interview. And I just wanted to recap them. So there's the power of consistency, the power of 3, journaling, the race day mantras, and the concept of being surrounded by people that are better than you. So just kind of thinking about those 4 takeaways with the power of consistency. How consistent are you in what you're trying to do? Maybe you don't need to change and do something new or try different things. Maybe you just need to be more consistent with what you're already doing. Think about that. Then with the power of 3, journaling, have you tried this? Is this something that you might want to try today? What are things that you're doing well? What are things that you can get better at? And what are the things that you're going to stop doing or try and optimize? Race day mantras. What is your mantra today? What's your word? How do you want to show up? And then surrounded by people that are better than you. Are you willing to surround yourself with people that are better than you so that you can learn and grow and improve? So that's what I have for you today. I hope that was helpful, and I'll talk to you all later.